Welcome to Measuring Success Right, the official podcast of the Marriott Student Review, a podcast for students by students, where we connect the leaders of tomorrow with the issues of today.
Hello everyone, welcome to this week's episode of Measuring Success Right. We are back from the summer and we're super excited to get going with the podcast again. On this week's episode, we have the new members of the podcast team here at Marriott Student Review, and we're going to introduce ourselves so that you all know who the hosts of the podcast will be this semester. We'll start off with Frank, and then the rest of the team will introduce themselves.
Hey, my name's Frank. Like Tyler said, I'm a second-year accounting student here in the master's program, and I'm really excited to be working with such a great team to help create content for the Marriott Student Review. A little bit about myself. I grew up in North Carolina in a small town called Midway, because it was midway between two slightly bigger towns. I have a lot of different hobbies and interests and things that I like to do. For example, I love following sports, playing sports, love food, music, movies, typical American culture, teenage stuff. And I guess just looking forward for this semester and for what I'll be able to try and help contribute to the podcast. One thing that I'm really excited for is to meet new people and ask questions. You know, growing up, I watched probably an unhealthy amount of television, and that's especially accelerated while being in college. And one show that I've really latched on to lately has been Ted Lasso. And there's an episode, I think towards the end of season 1, where the protagonist, main character, Ted, he confronts this bully, and in it they're playing darts, and they put a wager on it. And the way that the episode is set up is that if Ted wins the wager, then the bully will leave him alone for a while, and if not, he'll be in a real world of hurt. And so they get down to the last round, and Ted has to hit some crazy score. I think 2 triple 20s and a bullseye. And so during this, he gives this little monologue about how one day he was taking his kid to school, and he was driving by in Kansas, some field, and he saw on a board there was a quote attributed to Walt Whitman that said, "Be curious, not judgmental." And I know it's dumb to get emotional over sitcoms, but for some reason it's just always really, really resonated with me. And ever since I listened to it, I've always tried to take that to heart, to be curious and to ask questions. And looking forward to what we'll be able to do and the kind of things that we'll try to be able to create, I'm really excited for the opportunity to try and be curious, find things out about people in ways that I never could have imagined, and learn more about the world that we live in.
Hey guys, I'm Tim Kelleher. I'm a major in the finance program here at the Marriott School of Business. Very excited to be graduating in finance. Also very excited to be on Measuring Success Right. Just a little bit about myself. I'm from Henderson, Nevada, born and raised there. And I am a big car fan, currently building an engine. Very excited to be on Measuring Success Right. I think the biggest thing for me that I'm excited for is being able to work collaboratively on a group project, such as Measuring Success Right, where it takes multiple people to work together. I'm also planning on law school after I graduate, and I think this is a great way to prepare for law school. Coming out of a major that's very math heavy, and going into a graduate education that's very communications heavy. I'm very excited to be able to work on my communication skills and prepare myself for what I have coming up.
Awesome. Okay, my name is Emily, and just to tell a little bit about myself, I'm from American Fork, Utah, and a couple things that I love is traveling. And so this summer I actually had the opportunity to split my internship. I worked for KPMG for half the summer in Salt Lake and then the other half the summer in Dublin, Ireland. So that was a really cool experience to meet a lot of people from different places. I also am a big fan of basketball. My family is all super tall. I'm 6 foot tall and I'm on the short half of my family. And so the basketball family rivalry is real. And lastly, I love hiking, and the very best hiking snack is smiley face fruit snacks from Walmart. One of my very favorite things that I'm excited for with this podcast is being able to learn how people measure success. I think a lot of times we all get stuck in a rut that we're like, this is the only way we can be successful. And that's not true. There are so many ways for us to be successful people. And so as we talk to different people and get their perspectives, we're going to be able to see a lot of different ways that people have found success and meaning in their life.
Hey, my name is Luke Jorgensen. I am also a master's accounting student here at BYU. And when I'm not doing accounting work, I usually am running my window washing company. I'm from Logan, Utah, and so during the summer, that's pretty much what I've been doing is me and my brothers, and we hire a couple people, and we really work on actually the real world of business. It's not a huge thing at the moment, but it does what we need it to do during the summer. It keeps us busy, and I like learning a lot about business. It's a bit different from accounting, but it's a nice little break as well. I'll be working at Tanner Accounting next fall. I'll just kind of be going right into it. I have my window washing company, and so I haven't done any internships yet, but I love to learn, so I feel like I catch on to things pretty quick. The other thing over this past summer that I was involved in, something that is a little bit unique, I would say, is I'm on a semi-pro ultimate frisbee team, which is not extremely well known, but it fills the competitive side of me and also the physical exercise all in one. And so I'm a very competitive person at heart. I need some sports to fuel myself, especially sitting at a desk all day at school. And in my accounting career, I'm sure I'll be sitting in a lot of chairs. So I like being active. I like competing. And I also like learning. I like being in the accounting program. I'm excited for this opportunity to do the podcast. I actually didn't really know much about the Marriott Student Review before this. And so I had a friend that was doing the podcast, and I'm excited to learn a little bit more about the content that Marriott School Review provides and the podcast or the magazines. I'm excited to kind of get to know a little bit more about that content and hopefully share it with some friends. And so I'm excited to be here.
I'll go last, and I'm Tyler. I was part of the Marriott Student Review last semester. It was my first semester doing this, and I jumped straight into the podcast team, and I had a great semester time doing it last semester. And this semester, I'm really excited to be working on the podcasts again. And a couple things that I'm most excited about are to be working with this great team, Luke, Tim, Frank, and Emily. I think it's going to be a awesome semester, and we're really looking forward to the episodes that we're going to put out. And second, I'm really looking forward to working with the Ballard Brief. This semester, the Marriott Student Review is partnering with the Ballard Brief to put content out together. And we'll talk a lot about that more next week, but I think it's really going to add a lot of value to the podcast and to the student publication in general. This last summer, I lived in Salt Lake, and I worked at an accounting firm like a few other people here on the podcast. I had a really good experience, and yeah, a couple of my hobbies are I love mountain biking, so I did a lot of that over the summer before it got too hot. Right now it's a little too hot to go, but I try to go as much as I can, and it's one good thing about living in Utah is there are trails about everywhere you look, so that's something I really enjoy doing. And thank you all for listening to this episode, and tune in to the episodes we're going to have in the future. We're going to try and put one new episode out every week, so we are looking forward to that, and we hope you guys are too. Thank you.
Make sure you subscribe to our podcasts on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play, or SoundCloud so you never miss an episode. Be a friend and tell a friend about measuring success right.
This podcast is a project of the Marriott Student Review at Brigham Young University. You can find us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Marriott Student Review or online at marriottstudentreview.org.
The views and opinions expressed in this podcast do not necessarily reflect official policy or position of Brigham Young University or the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.